Hey there, SnapFlash fam, hold on tight. The borders are closing in, quite literally. South Africa just dropped a new border security game plan, but it's creating serious shockwaves across the region. Lesotho's factories are collapsing, Botswana's exports are stuck, and US tariffs are biting deep. So, is this the start of a new African trade crisis? Drop your flag in the comments, and tell us, is Africa getting stronger or more divided? While we at it, let's like, share and follow SnapFlash before this deep dive. Under pressure to clean up corruption and control migration, South Africa has beefed up its borders. New surveillance tech, extended hours, stricter rules, all directed by Home Affairs Minister Dr. Schreiber, who says it's about national integrity.
Now, we have already piloted some of this technology that we are showcasing today, and I'd like to start with the unmanned aerial vehicles, or the drones. So what we did over the December period was to cooperate with the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development to pilot the use of these devices and measure the impact that they have in the port environment and in enhancing the capability of government to prevent, detect and deter illegal crossings into South Africa. A few months ago, I stood at this podium and we announced the data that came out of those operations. What we saw was a 215% increase in the number of attempted illegal crossings by undocumented persons that were prevented. And we even were able to showcase thousands of instances where the use of these drones actually led to apprehensions directly. In other words, they enabled the detection of someone trying to cross the borderline, the deployment of BMA officials and resources, and then the arrest and direct deportation of those individuals. So what we were able to do in December was to prove that the concept works. We were in 5 different port environments with our partners from agriculture, and that was a very valuable opportunity for us to actually demonstrate the value of this approach. But today, I would say to you, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow South Africans, is at a whole different level. Because what we are announcing today, first of all, is the Border Management Authority's deployment of its own drone technology. And the device that we have on display here is one of 4 of these devices that will be deployed for the first time as part of the Easter operational plan. I want to say to you that they say dynamite comes in small packages. Do not be deceived by the size of this drone. I think it is one of the most advanced that you will find in the country at the moment. These drones will now be deployed, as I say, at these 4 different border posts, but it's important to emphasize that they will be moving around. So there are 4 of these devices, but as soon as the Border Management Authority receives indications that they are needed at other ports of entry, they will be moved to go and work all across the country at all ports of entry. I'm very excited to also be able to share with you that we are investing in our people. The Border Management Authority, through this project, is showing that it's not only about the technology, it is about the human resources and the culture shift that goes with that if you are going to use these tools to maximum advantage. That is why we are training 8 drone pilots. There will be 2 per device, and they will work in shifts to make sure that we have around-the-clock usage and detection in the port environment. It will be a very intensive training program. There will be weeks of in-class training. There will also be in-field training to make sure that we have the best people operating these devices. The other good news is that the partnership with agriculture has been so successful that we are extending it. And I want to thank the minister, the department in that regard, to make sure that we are actually augmenting our capacity. In other words, for this Easter season, not only will the BMA be deploying the 4 highly advanced drones that it now possesses, but we will have 5 more of these devices being operated by our partners in the Department of Agriculture. And I think that again demonstrates to us the power of the whole of government approach. So indeed, firstly, on the drone side of things, this is a revolution in border management, ladies and gentlemen. And I think it's important to highlight some of the capabilities of these devices so that we can all understand what they actually enable us to do, how they are going to revolutionize our ability to secure our country's borders. So there are two models that will be rolled out. So there's two of each. The first one is called the Evo Max 4N, and then there's also the Evo Max 4T. They have slightly different capabilities. The 4N is more suited for daytime operations, although it does also have the night capabilities. But I think the 4T is really going to be eyes in the sky for the BMA whenever it needs to, including at nighttime. So to give you a sense of the capabilities, and I want this to also be a very clear message to people who think about entering this country illegally, listen to what we can now do for the very first time. In terms of the capabilities, these drones launch within 15 seconds. If there's any indication that they are required or if there's a disturbance, they will be in the air immediately. They have thermal vision detection. So you cannot hide behind a tree, you cannot hide behind a bush. It will pick up your body heat and it will see you moving and trying to enter this country illegally. It has long-range zoom that can see up to 1.24 miles into the distance. And of course, it has a very advanced camera that is able to record and detect movements. In terms of the night features, this is very important for those who engage in criminality at the border environment because they think we can't see you. The 4N specifically is deliberately designed for night operations. It has what they call starlight night vision, zoom, thermal cameras, and full laser ranging capabilities. The starlight camera allows it to operate in lighting conditions as low as 0.0001 lux, delivering unparalleled performance in the dark. This device is ideal for night surveys and surveillance. Even more importantly, it's got autonomous pathfinding, which means that it can navigate its own environment even if there are obstacles in the way. It has object identification and tracking, which means that artificial intelligence is used to program the drone to detect certain objects. In other words, if we are looking for a certain kind of vehicle or a certain kind of group of people, the device is able to actually detect it using artificial intelligence. The speed of this device is also worth highlighting. These drones will fly through the air at 43 kilometers per hour. They are able to track and chase down any fugitive who wishes to flee when they see these devices overhead. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, if you take together those capabilities, you can see it what we mean when we say that by embracing digital transformation, we can overcome the obstacles that we face, not only in the border environment, but actually as government as a whole. Because what you will see over the coming few weeks, over the Easter period, is the use of these devices to run surveillance operations along the borderline and in the port environment that we would never have been able to do, even if we had more human resource capacity in the BMA. We all know that the BMA is short of officials. It is still short in many other regards. But we are going to leapfrog and close the gap now with this technology.
But what's the price of security? The neighbors are feeling it. Lesotho, completely surrounded by South Africa, is facing the perfect economic storm. Thanks to US tariffs slapping 47% on its exports and South African border restrictions, its textile industry is crumbling. Thousands of workers, mostly women, could lose everything. Some media reports say it plain. Lesotho is being crushed. This could be catastrophic. Botswana, already hurting from a 37% US tariff on diamonds, will now likely struggle with slowed access through key South African trade routes like Groblersbrug and Skilpadshek. Meanwhile, Botswana was loosening up, with the SADC we want, lifted its ban on fresh vegetable imports from South Africa, after it struggled to meet local demand solely from domestic production. Botswana and Namibia opened up their borders, allowing citizens to travel between the two countries without passports. Zimbabwe and Botswana also explored the same deal before the country went to the polls. Across borders, Zimbabwe and Mozambique, Their historic reliance on South Africa for jobs and cross-border trade is now threatened. People fear stricter borders could shut down informal economies and choke livelihoods. Across Africa, the tariff war has sparked anger and a call to action. The African Union is pushing harder for the African Continental Free Trade, aiming to boost intra-African trade and reduce dependence on Western markets. Regional leaders want Africa First policies, local value chains, local resilience. But trade experts have issued caution. Secure borders shouldn't mean shutting each other out. Integration must be the goal. Will South Africa's border strategy hold or break under pressure? With Lesotho pleading for support, and Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique bracing for impact, all eyes are on how Southern Africa will respond. So is this the beginning of Africa's self-reliance or the start of deeper division? Sound off in the comments, like, share, and follow SnapFlash as we track the fallout and the future of African unity. Until then, keep questioning and stay informed.
Welcome the Commissioner of the Border Management Authority, Dr.
Spent all my life holding